The most alarming trend that I'm seeing is in the last couple years of this epidemic has been this rise in overdose deaths despite all our efforts to treat the epidemic. What's the underlying cause for all the spike in mortality and death? It's actually fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opiate, meaning it's a man-made opiate back in the late 1950s. It was developed as an anesthetic first, and it's used usually as a prescribed opiate medication in pain management for patients who've already had developed a tolerance to traditional pain medicines. Now, it's extremely, extremely potent. So what's happening is it's causing a lot of death despite all the new awareness nationally in this epidemic and all our efforts to treat it. Why? It's actually the pharmacology of it. It gets into your bloodstream so fast. It's got a very high, what we call bioavailability. It gets into all your tissues in your body, like your organs, your brain, really effectively. But once it's in there, when it gets to that target, which is that opiate receptor, the mu receptor, it can be about 80 times more potent than morphine. So even a little bit of it really goes far. I mean, a kilogram can kill hundreds and hundreds. A kilogram of fentanyl can kill hundreds, even thousands of people. That's how potent it is. Not to mention it can with chemistry knowledge. And there are so many different analogs of fentanyl now. And it's first it was always something unknowingly being put into, let's say somebody has a problem with heroin, the supplier, they're cutting it with fentanyl. They don't know how much fentanyl is getting in certain batches, and people would use their heroin not knowing fentanyl's in there. They're getting way more dopamine surges, they're getting addicted quicker, and then their breathing is slowing down. So that causes this high rate of overdose death. Now it's actually becoming a drug of choice where that is what's being sought after by the individual, and that's actually very alarming. It scares me because that medication, if you use even a little bit too much, like I said, it could be deadly. So why is it that everything we're doing recently hasn't slowed the number of overdose? In fact, the last 2 years, the number of overdose deaths has been spiking and jumping. It's almost quadrupled. But at the same time, what we're finding is most of those deaths, and there's a lot of statistics that have just been released on this, the number one reason actually is synthetic opiates, fentanyl, carfentanil. There's a lot of different types of analogs of that molecule, but that's really the most alarming trend.